Good. Wait.
Hello YouTube, my name is Rex and this is the SAP Opinion Editorial channel. I have a quick question. Who does not have a cell phone? Which one of you out there does not have a cell phone? It's pretty much a widespread thing. Everybody has cell phones. I was able to dig up some blasts from the past in my research and got this little flip phone guy right here. And here is a Nokia. I take it out of here. And this was kind of an interesting phone. I use this a lot for my work. Now, one of the things that caught my attention about these older analog phones is that they were clipped on. So this one clips on. Here's another flip phone that clips on. And here's an old Nokia. Some of you may remember these. Again, a clip on. In relation to bail, bounty hunting, police work, that type of thing, have you ever seen somebody carry a phone like this, even a smartphone, just haphazardly clipped on a belt, maybe on their pocket, and they're talking to people? But what happens? What happens if a struggle ensues? What happens if that person goes into a felony hazard situation? What happens if a simple interview turns into a foot chase, fence over fence over fence, and you're dealing with people who have very bad intentions, or maybe they hang out with people who have very bad intentions, and you lose not your analog phone with just basically phone numbers or whatever, but instead you lose that little pocket computer that everybody carries. You've got pictures of your dog, your wife, your kids. You've got text going to who knows where. Even if you lock your phone, is that going to secure you? Let me ask you a question, and let me put it in these terms. If you came into my area and I was a bad guy and you lost this and left the area and I found it and I had bad intentions, could I find you with your cell phone? Could I find your mother, your brother, your sister, fiance, wife, children, where they go to school, where they play soccer, where they play softball, football, whatever? If I found your smartphone, could I find you? And that is the question. Now, in relation to a remedy for that, especially when you're bounty hunting, these flip phones are not to be discounted. Not necessarily the analog ones. This is pretty old. What I'm talking about specifically is the phone that I carry when I'm bounty hunting. It is a throwaway flip phone. This is a sanitized, sterile phone. The only numbers, the only information you're going to find on this phone are numbers to police departments, people that I've been contacting in relation to a current investigation. Everything else gets scrubbed. If this phone gets lost, nobody's going to be able to find me just off this phone. There's nothing on here. I don't call family. I don't call friends. I don't do anything on this but pure bounty hunting business. If it gets lost, no worries. What you can do is carry your smartphone in your vehicle, but then your vehicle could get compromised while you're out going block to block to block to block to block. My super strong suggestion is just leave your smartphone in your vehicle, leave it at home, carry a flip phone. Your family will understand, hopefully. Now, the logical question that comes up in closing is this. Okay, well, I use my smartphone while I'm bounty hunting. I got to do internet searches. I text with the other bounty hunters when I can't see them. So what's the solution to that? Well, you can carry a tablet in your vehicle, hopefully a sanitized tablet. If you have a home office, you can call the home office, say, hey, I need you to run a search for me. Some bounty hunter teams, they work with somebody actually in an office and they're doing all kinds of things administratively that you can't do because you're on the run, on the run, on the run. Now, one of the solutions to the whole I text, how am I going to contact my guys, is radios, comms, very super important. Now, one of the things that I need to suggest about radios in relation to this video on smartphones is that you want to carry a radio. It doesn't necessarily have to have a big range. You don't have to have spend a lot of money on it. One of the things you might want to consider is being in a felony hazard situation with a radio. Let's say, for example, you're coming around a corner and you meet somebody who meets the description of your bail jumper, or maybe it's just somebody who's hostile, and you're talking to them, and for whatever reason, let's not get into the woods out here, a struggle ensues. Now, my radio is set up for this way for a very specific reason. I can take my radio out and I can communicate with it manually this way, even though all this is set up. And one of the things on this radio also is that this part is screwed in to the radio. So it'd be very difficult to kind of pull this out. Of course I could lose my radio. Of course channels could get changed in the middle of a struggle. But again, let's stay out of the woods. So let's say, for example, the reason why I wear an ear mic like this is one, whoever I'm talking to can't hear my comms. The other reason why I wear an ear mic like this is because I can still hear what's going on. It doesn't plug into the ear, it just shapes to the ear. So I can hear everything around me. I've got both ears. It helps me judge where sounds are. And the other thing about it is, even if this gets pulled out, I can pull this out here, right? Goes to the ear mic, pull this out, and I can still communicate. Of course, the other party is going to be able to hear what I'm saying. So even if I lose my ear mic, I still have my shoulder mic. I lose my shoulder mic for whatever reason. Hopefully, I still have access to my radio, which I can key, and yes, it works just like that as well. So when you're thinking about radio comms, doesn't have to be a 20-mile radio. What you're looking for is something, a block, 2 blocks. Line of sight varies from radio to radio. It just depends. If your team gets spread out that much, and right now I'm going to tell you, it's very, very dangerous to operate in pairs. That's going to be a separate video. But in this particular case, I operate in teams of 5. So if your team spreads out like that, now you're back to cell phones. But inside of radio range, use your radios. Now, here's the other thing. When you key your mic to talk, keep it short, keep it simple, and don't go on a long soliloquy. Don't just drab on and on and on, because while you're sitting there and you're talking and talking and talking, your partner's in a fight and can't get on the radio because you're jamming up the channel. So please don't jam up the channel. Make it short, make it quick, make it concise. Stay in comms. If you are in a location where the team is forming a perimeter or maybe setting up on a single-story structure, for example, and you're doing comms and somebody's not answering, could be a radio problem, or maybe they could be having a problem. If you lose comms with somebody, don't assume it's a radio problem. You got to check on your partner. This wraps up the smartphone, radio, don't carry your smartphone, consider a flip phone, sanitized phone video for this special access program opinion editorial YouTube channel.
Good.